Freedom from the mental layer. When emotions are negatively expressed, we destroy the energy within us and block ourselves from receiving energy from without. If you have practiced the technique that has been given with each of the preceding videos, you would have seen how you could overcome these negative energies and unblock yourself. Let us now look at few other issues, which if we understand well, can change the way we live. These understandings can transform us. Let us start with a very simple something that we all take for granted. Let us look at the way our mind really works. The 10-minute experiment. Try a very simple experiment for just 10 minutes. Take a sheet of paper and a pen, sit down alone, write down whatever thought comes to mind. As if a transcribing software has been connected to your mind. Transcribe exactly what you think. Do not edit or suppress any thoughts. It is an experiment only for you. No one else is going to look at what you have written. Just like how the transcribing software, which is connected to a taped speech, transcribes everything, transcribe whatever is going on in your mind verbatim. At the end of 10 minutes, read what you wrote just once. You will be amazed. You can clearly see that there is no logic in the way thoughts form in your mind. For example, if you see a dog on the street, immediately you remember the dog you were afraid of when you were young, or the one you used to play with when you were young. The next thought could be about your childhood. The third may be about the teacher and the room you used to sit in at the school. The fourth may be about the house where your teacher used to live. There is no logical connection between the dog that you recently saw on the street and the teacher who taught you in the school. However, in a few seconds, you simply jumped from seeing the dog to your childhood teacher. You can see that your thoughts are just moving, drifting from one thing to another. We can't even call this as thinking. It is just association, that's all. You associate the dog with your childhood, with the teacher, and so on. Actually, if you do this exercise just one, the very understanding that it gives you will transform the way you think about yourself and how you treat yourself and others. Your whole life will be transformed. How does our mind work? How do we create thoughts and how do we give meaning to them? How do we experience life? Generally, all our thoughts are related to something about the past or the future. You cannot have thoughts about the present. In the present moment, you can only have consciousness, no thoughts. Thoughts are either related to some joyful experiences that you had in the past and want to have in the future, or painful experiences you had in the past and don't want to have them again. Even at some time, serious problem, you will suddenly have a positive thought. Even in the peak of joy, you have some unconnected negative thought. Each thought is completely independent, completely unconnected to the previous thought. That is why you are able to have a happy thought amidst sad thoughts and vice versa. Understand that no two thoughts are logically connected. No thought is responsible for the creation of another thought. They all appear randomly, independently, and illogically. How do you unclutch from this random stream of thoughts? We will be using the word unclutch again and again. Let's clearly define what is meant by unclutch. When we change gears while driving a car, whether we change from first to second or second to third or any gears for that matter, we have to pass through a neutral every time. We have to completely depress the clutch or unclutch, move through neutral, and only then we can go to the next gear, right? In the same way, we experience a neutral space between any two thoughts in our mind. That neutral space, that silence that exists between two thoughts is peace and bliss. When we no longer grab onto thoughts and connect it to them, to the past or future, we remain unclutched. As we remain unclutched from our thoughts, we become more aware of the neutral spaces between thoughts. The gap between the thoughts automatically extend when we remain unclutched from the stream of thoughts. We will dwell in the neutral space longer and experience more and more peace and bliss. Awareness, the ultimate key. When you suddenly become aware, any thought that flows in front of you becomes your life for that moment. You start giving attention to it. Either you fulfill it or you try to escape from it. It is like slides on a projector. Any slide that is kept in front of the projector light is seen as the reality on the screen. The problem is, in your inner space, the projector light is not continuously on. When I say projector light, I mean your awareness. It just comes and goes. You are not fully continuously aware. Many times, even though your eyes are open, your body is moving, you are not aware of your existence. An example from everyday life is like when you get into your car and drive for half an hour to an hour to the office. It is only after you reach at the office, park the car and get out, you suddenly realize, oh, I have reached the office. It means that those moments of driving, the projector light was most of the time off. Any slide that is placed in front of the projector during movements that the projector light, your awareness is off, is not a part of your life. You don't remember it at all. When the light comes on again, when your awareness comes back again, whatever your thoughts you have at that time becomes a part of you. Understand that this is a very subtle truth. Your life is the totality of all the thoughts you have, and aware and unaware. Unfortunately, many times there are thoughts, many major decisions and life-changing incidents that happen to you when you are not aware. These are also part of your life, part of your biography. Unfortunately, you are not aware of these scenes, decisions or thoughts when they come. Without your knowledge, they have contributed significantly to your life. Be very clear. Every moment that passes in your life without you being aware of it, without your presence, is suffering. You will either directly or indirectly create situations for suffering. Just like the turn indicator light in your car blinks, your consciousness blinks also. But because of your lack of awareness, you do not know when it is on and when it is off. A joke I read the other day, one man got into his car and started the engine. He flipped on the turn indicator and asked his son to see if the light blinked in the rear of the car. His son shouted back, "Yes, it is on." "No, it is not on." "Yes, it is on." "No, it is not on." "It's off." "It's on." If you see the thought flow in front of you, suddenly you will realize, oh God, all these things are actually going on in me. I don't have a clue where I am heading. I don't know what is happening in me. You are not aware, but you believe you are aware. That is the first illusion. If you become aware continuously, you open up to reality for the first time. It might be a bit intense initially because until now you have spent most of your time in unawareness. Ultimately, it will lead you to experience only joy and bliss. You are not aware of your true past. This is the first truth. You are not aware. Of all the things that are happening in front of you, you do not remember your biography as it happened. You remember it only as you want it. Just take a simple example. Your life is filled with different kinds of incidents relating to joy, suffering, guilt, pain and depression. You don't look at life as it is what you usually do. You collect only the incidents related to suffering and create a shaft. Connecting these ideas, you think your life is nothing but suffering. You think that your life is a long chain of suffering, a pain shaft. Very rarely you create a joy shaft. It is very rare that you collect joyful incidents, create a joy shaft and feel life is joy. It is rare, not only in the number of joyful shafts, but also in the quality of them. Most of the time, you collect all the painful memories and incidents and create the idea that life is only pain. The moment you believe life is continuous painful occurrences, unconsciously you try to strengthen that belief. Even though consciously you try to break the pain shaft, please understand your belief that life is a pain shaft or a joy shaft will stay only as long as you are unconscious, not when you are aware. Relationship between awareness and the thoughts in your inner space. If you normally enjoy lustful thoughts, then whenever lustful thoughts cross your system, you come to the awareness, I exist. If you normally enjoy violent thoughts, whenever violent thoughts come into your system, you come to life and know that you exist. This is what we call as vicious cycle. You empowering negativity and negativity bringing you back to life, you empowering more negativity and more negativity bringing to life perceived excitement. The shaft that does not exist. The pain shaft invites painful incidents to your life. There is a very beautiful analogy by Ramanand Maharshi, an enlightened master from India. A dog will chew a dry bone. As it chews, fragments of the bone will poke into his mouth, making it bleed. The dog thinks the blood is coming from the bone and enjoys the blood. It continues to chew on the bone for the pleasure of the blood. It does not realize that the blood is coming from its own mouth and not all from the bone. If violence excites you, you wait for that kind of incidents in your life. If pain excites you, if you believe life is pain shaft, you wait for kind of incident in your life in order to strengthen and reinforce your belief. That is general human psychology. Although people claim they want to break the violence shaft or pain shaft, they secretly nurture it. The shaft of pain. Let me provide a deeper understanding. The pain that you had 10 years ago, the pain that you had 9 years ago, the pain that you experienced 7 years ago, the pain you experienced 3 years back, the pain you experienced yesterday are all unconnected, independent, individual incidents. But you start connecting all of them and create a shaft of pain. You connect all this thought shaft and create one big shaft. You start thinking and believing my life is pain. Is that true? No. What happened to all the sweet incidents of joy that you experienced in between? Surely there must have been at least a few moments of joy in between. They are simply forgotten. They are never picked to form a shaft. So the shaft, any shaft, is never true because it focuses on only a fragment of your complete biography. First, you start archiving the painful memories for utility purpose. You archive all your pains probably for medical history sake, or you tell your doctor. By and by you start believing that all these pains that happened in your life are connected. You decide that your life is pain, your life is suffering. The moment you come to the decision that your life is pain, you create your life is suffering. You create hell for your life, for yourself. For example, until yesterday, you were only walking. You were not able to fly. You know, in your past, you never flew. You only walked. Can you believe you can start flying from tomorrow onwards? You can't. You know, tomorrow you will still only be walking. You rely solely on your remembered past experience to predict your future, eliminating many new possibilities. Shaft of joy. The joy that you experienced 10 years ago, 9 years ago, 3 years back, the joy that you experienced 1 year back, all are independent, individual, connected thoughts of shaft. At the present time, you connect all those thoughts and create a big shaft of joy. You may identify your joy with an object, a person or space like a particular vacation resort, now you will try again and again to bring back in your life, to bring that person, that object, that space, or that same incident back in your life. Try as you might, you will not be able to experience the same joy again. This puts you in further pain. In life, we constantly create either shafts of pain or joy. Once you create shaft of pain, you try to break it. You create a shaft of joy, you try to elongate it. But you don't understand that you can neither elongate the joy shaft nor break the pain shaft. Simply, the shaft itself doesn't exist. It is just selective memory. The very shaft is your imagination. Thoughts are like bubbles in the fish tank. There is no linear connection between one thought that we had and another thought that we have. The only relationship between thoughts is that they come from same source. But we constantly connect one thought and the next thought in a linear manner. Just as bubbles in a fish tank rise from the bottom, our thoughts also rise in the same manner. When one bubble comes and reaches to the surface of the water, the next bubble starts, and then the third bubble starts. Because the bubbles are rising at high speed, they look like continuous stream. Actually, there is a gap between two bubbles. Like the bubbles, we also have experienced neutral space between two thoughts. Since the gap or the neutral space between the two thoughts is so small, we think all thoughts are connected and form a shaft. But there is always a gap between two thoughts. If you just learn this one simple technique of unclutching, you will be able to retain a significant amount of energy in your system, in your being. As a result, you will be many times more productive and creative. Your relationships will be much friendlier because you will not clutch incidents that are not related. You will not feel suffocated by people or their expectations for you. You will have tremendous inner space available to you. Fulfill your needs as well as others' needs. You will also have tremendous compassion to know why others are suffering. It is only when you understand why other person is suffering that you are harsh with them. When you unclutch, you are able to accommodate that person in your space. You are automatically compassionate. Your very life has a different quality and you become a different person in the world. Every single happening in our lives is unconnected. Even our everyday activities like acting, eating, drinking, each and every experience is independent by its own right. Drinking water yesterday and drinking water today are two completely different incidents. The food that you ate yesterday, the food that you ate today are different. Even if they seem physically the same, but your mind creates the shaft between these two incidents and says, I eat the same food every day. Please be very clear, you don't eat the same food every day. You may use the same word eating for both the experiences, but they are not the same experiences. Do not be cheated by the words that you use. Yesterday's eating, today's eating, and tomorrow's eating are separate incidents, separate experiences. They are completely independent and unattached. A beautiful story from life of an enlightened master from central India. During the last 10 years of his life, the doctor asked the master to eat a particular kind of food. He was not allowed to eat anything else. He had to eat the same kind of food 3 times a day, every day. After 2 years, the person who cooked for him came and complained, Master, I am bored with cooking the same food. How are you able to eat the same food day after day? The master just laughed and said, I am not eating the same food every day. How can I eat the same food every day? I can only eat this food today. Tomorrow's food is totally different. Life is new every moment. It is the mind that makes it look repetitive, dull and mundane. Well, thank you for joining. नमस्कार.